Here on the Pete Thompson Show. Kevin, you got your song, but the host didn't even know who sang it.
Well, the host probably wasn't born back when the song even came out. So I'll give him a pass on that one.
What year was that? I'll follow up with what year?
I'm going to believe it was like 1984, 85.
Oh, sure.
Right
sure, I was born. I was like 12 or 13, man. I was like delivering the Norristown Times-Herald as Tony Leodora was the sports editor. Tony loves when I bring that up to him and say that I rode my bike and threw his newspaper columns into people's driveways. He really feels young when I tell him that.
Oh, my bad. I thought we were talking about your producer there. That's my fault.
Oh, yeah, no, Hunter had no idea who it is. But already, you know what, Kevin? Hunter had no idea who Dick Cavett was. He had no idea who Mike Douglas was. He had no idea who Murph Griffin was. I had to go to Johnny Carson to finally get to a host that he knew.
Well, these younger guys need a little bit of a history lesson.
I mean, I never thought you and I would become the get off my lawn guy, but these whippersnappers, Minnick, I'll tell you what, I tell my kids something about Jay Leno. They don't know who Jay Leno is. They don't know Dave Letterman. They don't know Jay Leno. What are they watching?
Well, they're playing with their phones and doing a couple of other things, I guess. The history is not exactly the forte of I guess, this millennial era.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of history with the program that it looks like you watched last night, and that would be the Holy Spirit Spartans. So you were, like, right in our backyard. You came down to Obsequion to check out Holy Spirit and see, like, hey, is this for real? And I guess you got your confirmation, right?
Yeah, actually, I was in my backyard because the Holy Spirit came up to Washington Township.
Oh, my bad. My apologies.
And no problem. And they really ran the football with authority, and I came away extremely impressed. The offensive line did a tremendous job, and Elijah Gray and Patrick Smith really took advantage of the holes, and even and Trevor Cohen running the football a little bit out of the quarterback spot. But they ran the ball for over 400 yards last night, and really were dominant in that facet of the game, and pretty much that carried them to another victory.
Kudos to you, by the way, for making sure that the picture had all the offensive linemen in there, too. I mean, the unsung heroes, right?
Well, offensive linemen tend not to get any kind of recognition, I guess. When we talk about the guys that put up the gaudy numbers, and obviously, they do a great job, too. But, those running backs don't get the yards that they get. They can be as talented as they want. But if a line doesn't do its job, even the best running backs are not going to, perform to their capabilities. It's, they may break one here or there, but, for the most part, they're not going to get the 150, 200-yard nights unless those guys up front are doing their job. So, after the game, a couple of the guys, they knew I wanted to talk to Patrick and to Elijah, and they were kind of like looking for their little bit of glory as well. So, we can't have. It's hard to get a comment from five guys in the paper. So we asked for one spokesman, and Kurt Driscoll took care of that. And like I said, I was very impressed with the way Holy Spirit ran the football last night, and they really needed that win. They were coming off of a bye. The week before they had lost to Hamilton, so they really needed a W. Not only for their confidence, I think, and for the playoff picture, but to remain in the hunt in the West Jersey Royal and really prepare themselves for what's coming ahead.
Let's see if my poor eyesight can read these names off right. Deshaun Teller, Justin McNulty, Javen McGee, Kurt Driscoll, who you mentioned, and Patrick Barras, I believe, are the five linemen that are pictured there with Elijah Gray and Patrick Smith, and they all combined for, Elijah Gray and Patrick Smith, 335 yards and just 4 touchdowns. So a dominant rushing game, 41-17. Holy Spirit wins on the road, and like you said, a key Royal Division win for them, too, to kind of keep themselves in the picture, maybe bounce back from the Hamilton loss. What else stuck out at you last night? I guess Woodrow Wilson would be another one, right? Because Woodrow Wilson goes and beats Shawnee. That was and didn't just beat him. I mean, that's a statement. 48-0. Boom, mic drop.
Yeah, I think in all of South Jersey football last night, that is the game that people will look at and kind of really wonder, kind of shake their heads. Shawnee had been playing extremely well, and at 5-0, and a Wilson team that I think, a lot of people share the same opinion as me in that, they're a team that when they put everything together, they could probably beat pretty much anybody. They've got talent up and down the lineup. Fidel Diggs is clearly one of the best players in the state. He could be the offensive and defensive player of the year. He's that good. So they've got a tremendous team, but the thing with them is they've given up a lot of points. They've scored a lot, but they've also given up a lot. So it's just a matter of kind of almost, which Woodrow Wilson team shows up. And last night, the one that put everything together showed up. And to beat Shawnee 48-0 at Shawnee, Shawnee was number 10 in the state, really is a major statement that Woodrow Wilson is back. I think people forget they are the defending South Jersey Group 3 champion. And, they're not to be taken lightly. And when on all cylinders, when they are disciplined, they can be very, very good. And obviously that showed last night.
Kevin Minnick's our guest at K Minnick Sports, KMINNICK Sports, NJ.com, as Kevin follows the West Jersey Football League and all the developments that are taking place there each and every Friday night and Saturday. Hey, by the way, let's throw this in before I forget. McGarry's taking a Saturday off. You're working today, aren't you?
I'm on my way to a game. That's how dedicated I am. But, I understand what's going on with Mike, and he does a heck of a lot down there for the press. So when the schedule's a little bit on the lighter side, every now and then, a day off isn't going to kill anybody.
I'm just teasing him. What game you headed to, just out of curiosity?
We're actually going to Woodbury. We're going to see Woodbury and Paulsboro this morning, and this is as far as football in Gloucester County is concerned, and South Jersey Group 1. This is a rivalry that dates back over 100 years, and these two teams they go at it every year. They're two of the more dominant teams in Group 1 history in South Jersey. Obviously everyone, I think, knows how successful Paulsboro has been under Glenn Howard, and Woodbury has had its moments too. And, it's just an opportunity to see these two teams and on a kind of a light day on the schedule and get an opportunity to see a couple of decent players and in a type of game where records really don't matter because it's going to be a battle.
How about Haddonfield and West Deptford last night? Anything jump out at you there?
West Deptford, I think the score was 0-0 in the second quarter at some point. It might even be very close at halftime. I really don't remember. But, West Deptford is a team that, people have been talking about. And they had a lot of guys coming back. Haddonfield, on the flip side, had a lot of guys that they lost to graduation. I think they lost 21 seniors from that team that went 13-0 last year and won South Jersey Group 2 and that South Central Bowl game. So, I'm not surprised that that West Deptford won this time around. That's another one of these rivalries, an old Colonial Conference rivalry. Two teams that make no mistake do not like each other. They don't reference each other by name. They reference each other by the exit on 295 or the color of their jersey. So, the green team got the best of exit 32 last night, and I think that kind of firmly stakes West Deptford to maybe being the favorite in South Jersey Group 2. I know there's going to be a lot of really good teams in that section when the playoffs come rolling around, but West Deptford's still undefeated. They're a team that gets the job done by running the football and playing good defense. So, like I said, undefeated right now and really a team to keep an eye on.
That's the kind of inside knowledge we want to get from Kevin Minnick each and every Saturday. The green team beat Exit 32. That is exactly the local kind of knowledge you can find out if you listen to Kevin each week here on the Pete Thompson Show on 97.3 ESPN. Hey, you retweeted last night that Deptford Township High School picked up a win and a tight one, too, 34-27 against Sterling.
Yeah, Deptford, I think we've talked about them a little bit in the past, and, Al Oreos comes back to Deptford for his second run through, and, all the coaches, like I said, all the coaches are Deptford guys, and they started to turn things around a little bit last year, and then Al and his staff came in this season, and, they're off to a nice start. I believe they're 4-2 now, and starting to get things done, and, Deptford in the past, people don't know or don't recall the history of Deptford football. And Deptford, back in the 80s and 90s, and even going back prior to that, under Coach Corby, were a tremendous football team and a ground and pound kind of team. They would have no problem punching you in the face and then walking away and coming back and doing it again. So, they're a team right now that, I think they're going to be a playoff team again. And it's nice to see, some early success for a guy in Aloria who's been around and a staff that, is very, very dedicated.
I'm just analyzing the box score, but it looks like Timber Creek, the second quarter was where they really made their push, and Millville could never crawl back out of that hole they found themselves in. 38-24, Timber Creek beats Millville.
Yeah, Creek is we've talked about Creek in the past, a team program that, struggled a little bit last year, but over the last, I say, 10 years or so, has been a dominant football team. And Rob Hinson does a real nice job over there, get those kids ready to play. And, Donovan Leary, a sophomore quarterback this year, really is one to watch and to keep an eye on, because I think he's going to break a lot of records, and a lot of those records are owned by his brother Devin, now at NC State. So, they like to sling the ball around, and they play some pretty good defense. They got some tough guys on the line, and but the thing is with Timber Creek is that's a team that if you're going to go watch Timber Creek play, prepare yourself for 3 hours, because they're going to put the ball in the air most of the time. And they've been very successful at this point. And, for them to get a W over a Millville team who's had struggles out of the gate, but, their schedule was may have been one of the most difficult first 3 games of any team in the state. And, they're going to be a factor in South Jersey Group 4 playoffs regardless. But, for Timber Creek to kind of rally a little bit and really step on the pedal there shows a little bit about them.
We're talking with Kevin Minnick in a South Jersey Sports Report segment of the Pete Thompson Show on 97.3 ESPN, recapping Week 5 of high school football, and there's some football today on Saturday, a little bit of a lighter schedule. What was your takeaway, Kevin, on the fact that Hamilton not only won but shut out Kingsway?
That was an important game for both teams. That's a West Jersey Royal Division game, and Hamilton's a team that last year I believe finished 3-7, and really wanted to kind of turn things around and get back to what they're used to, which is running the football and winning games. And for them to get that W, shut out Kingsway, obviously is a major feather in their cap, and will do a lot for their confidence. I didn't see any box score, so I'm not sure how they scored their points, or if it was Jaden Abrams, but they've got themselves a special running back in him, and I think he's the kind of kid, if as long as he maintains health and can run that football 20, 25 times a day, they're going to be in every game. So a big win for them, especially if they want to win that Royal Division.
Right, no box score, but you did at least get a tweet from the coach in Buna winning 43-0. Thanks, Coach Caputo. We appreciate you tweeting that out, right?
Yeah, Buna in Group 1, I think not too many people have really paid. I don't think they've paid a lot of attention to Buna. Buna's been playing very, very well, and I think if you look at their scores, they've kind of blown out a lot of teams, and they're just quietly getting it done, and maybe sometimes being quiet is okay. And next thing you know, they come up on some teams, and you look around and you say, oh man, that team might be something special. And maybe that's Buna this year. They can compete. Coach Caputo does a real nice job with them. I know for the last couple of years they've had some success. We've got to the playoffs. They've kind of made a little bit of a run here or there and not really been able to get over the hump. But I think if you check out the box scores on Buna, you'll maybe come away a little bit more impressed than initially your first thought. But I think they're definitely a team to keep an eye on in South Jersey Group 1.
And then, we talked with McGarry in the first hour, but at least I'll get your thoughts on, Mainland survives. They stay unbeaten. Big win from the Mustangs down here is, 6-0 is 6-0.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't matter how you get it done as long as you get a W, and I think that's really, what it all comes down to. And, rankings and everything and press clippings are all nice, but, you really want to be the team that people are talking about in December, and not so much right now. But a game against Oak Crest for them is probably one of those kind of throw the record out kind of games, And you just go out, and it might not look pretty, and you might go back on tape and see a couple dozen mistakes, but you still walked away with a W. And like you said, 6-0 is 6-0, and then Mainland turned things around last year, but prior to that, 1-9 and 1-9 was not a great feeling. So
right.
They're really doing a nice job down there, and they're obviously going to have some more tests down the road. But to win the 6 games to start the season, they've got to be extremely happy.